Hey guys, welcome to another episode of MIA with Damini. Get a pen, grab a notepad, and happy learning.
All right. So before we even dive into like business ideas and all of that, let's first talk about businesses in general, right? Um, First off, having a business, is that for everybody? My personal opinion is yes, right? It's not necessarily, and to be fair, it's the skills you get from running the business that I find amazing, right? It teaches you it teaches you so much, how to build relationships, how to, you know, how to understand the difference between logic and emotional thinking, how to make logical decisions that are not just driven by your emotions. It teaches you how to budget properly. I think businesses just are like practical ways of learning what like the things they teach us in school. Yeah, running a business is the practical. That's how I always see it. um that's my own personal opinion. However, I do understand when people say, oh, it's not for everybody. I agree. However, I think the problem that people have is the way they look at business is they think they need to grow a Fortune 500 or that business that is on Forbes list or something like that. No, 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 no. That's not necessary, right? If, for example, you you have a particular taste for coffee or you have a particular passion for coffee, right? And you think that most of the people that make coffee in your area, pardon my French right now, is they make shit. Let's just imagine that you think they make shit. You can literally either start a coffee shop and then wow your society or wow your community with your own special branded coffee, or you can sell your coffee online. You can sell your coffee to stores. There's so many different things you can do. You can even start to educate baristas on how to make actually good coffee, right? There's so many things you can do based on something you found or something that ticks you off in terms of like a problem. Let's use that word that you found that you can help society solve, right? Now, that doesn't necessarily have to go on to be a Forbes, um, Fortune 500 type business. You don't have to go on the NASDAQ or the stock exchange. You don't have to have those dreams. However, the basic things you learn from running a business are just so valuable to being a useful person to society, in my own opinion, right? Obviously, there's also the issue of we are currently in an economic crisis right now, right? Um, some people call it cost of living crisis, all of that, all of that, all of that. Summary is everybody's kind of, well, I wouldn't say everybody's broke. There's still people that are balling, yeah, right? But nobody has that same set of financial freedom or independence, right? So even if you had a real estate business, if somebody has a real estate business, all of a sudden you don't have any tenants because they can't afford to stay where you're staying in your real estate or your buildings, right? So there's all those little things. So yeah, that's one why you need to start a business, so you can have a secondary source of income, and then not be so dependent on one source of income that then brings strain, that brings depression. If something happens or goes off in the office, all of a sudden you're a bit paranoid. They are laying off people, so you're worried that they might lay you off. A building or running a business kind of eases that out. In the beginning, it will be stressful. Let me just point that out. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be. It's not going to be light work. Nah, 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 nah. There's a lot of hard work that goes into running a business and making it successful. However, is it worth it? Short answer: yes. Even if the person's business, not yours, even if the person's business fails, the skills that they've gotten along the way, the understanding, that they've gotten along the way, would help them either start a new business or become a better asset in a company, right? So those are the things that I always look at it. Why people should start a business? It's just the skills. And you never can tell. You can be sitting on a gold mine where you have a passion for something that comes so natural to you, and everybody's struggling with it, and everybody's waiting for you to come to the market. Just pack your millions. So that's why everybody should start a business, in my own opinion. I genuinely believe everybody should start a business. So that myth where people say, "Oh, 7 sources of income. You need 7 sources of income to be financially free." All of that. Pardon my French again, but that's also bullshit. I don't honestly believe that you need 7 sources of income, guy. Jeez, like you don't need one. That one I can guarantee you, because I've had one source of income and I've struggled. I wasn't financially independent. And I don't think I know anybody that has one income that is financially independent. Quote me on that, and then prove me wrong if you know somebody that just has one source of income. I don't think those people exist. So yeah, you might not need 7, you might need more than 7, but you definitely need more than 1. That's how I look at it, right? And the beauty of it is a lot of people tend to look too far. And sometimes in the past, I've been guilty of this, where a lot of people tend to look too far to find their source of income, to find their next source of income or their next business or whatever it is, right? You can build your next business idea from your 9 to 5. Like you don't even have to like it's not something you have to go too far. The thing is, I've come to realize that everything you want is actually within reach. It's just that how you start off might not be the first place you typically look. And I'll give you an example. So let's say you are an operations manager, right? You're an operations manager, you work for a retail or manufacturing company, and you deal with operations, right? So supply chain, things like that. Good. What you can do is you can start to train small businesses on how to improve their operations, how to improve their logistics, how to improve their supply chain. You begin to teach them the whole FIFO, LIFO, all those things in operations, right? That's something you can do as you become a consultant of some sorts, right? You can always start a course and market it. You can start a logistics business for a certain group of people that you've like built understanding for. So let's say your company deals with sugar, right? And the way they deal with sugar is they deliver to certain factories. So they don't stock sugar on the shelves in the retail or departmental stores. They stock sugar in factories. So people that make biscuits, people that make cakes, people that make pastry, whatever it is, right? So let's say sugar or flour. So it's pastries, things like that. You can literally, again, don't go and work for a competition because they might sack you for that, obviously. But you can actually then begin to train people within that organization. You can go and work with suppliers and then, find consumers or customers, give them a better price because of your supplier relationship, and then supply to those people. You see, it's really not so difficult to actually look at what you have at the moment and then build a structure to get to where you want to go to or what you want. It's very simple, right? It's actually very simple. So you can start a business within your 9 to 5. There's this so for example, when I was younger, a lot of people used to ask me, "Oh, what do you want to be? What do you want to be?" And I used to say all sorts of things. So at some point, I was even saying I wanted to be an entrepreneur, right? Because it's one of those words where we just hear a lot. Oh, entrepreneurs. There are people that are intrapreneurs. So they work within a business. However, they work in the capacity of entrepreneurs, building products, building services, building processes. And you can do that as well. You don't necessarily have to look outside of your 9 to 5 to look for to look or build a business and then go through that hassle of training yourself or something if it's not something you want. So this is like, and this is me going back to why I say the idea of just having a business, it just makes you a more valuable asset to society, to your business, to your employer, and to yourself. And then even if you are a religious person, to your maker, you are just a more valuable asset, because the skills that you get are skills that are, I say there are skills that are on your fingertips, which means there are skills that you have. You didn't read it in a book. Like, you put your finger inside the fire, you got burnt, and the scars are on your hand. So you don't necessarily have to look too far and wide before you start a business. No. You can also start a business or find another business within your existing business. Let's say, for example, retail. Let's say you're into retail, right? And a lot of people do this. A lot of businesses, when you look at them, they actually end up doing something similar to this. You are in retail, right? Let's say you sell home appliances. Let's say you sell home appliances in retail, and all of a sudden, you're looking for how to expand your business. It's very simple. Look at your your cost sheet, right? Where do I spend most of my money in terms of cost, in terms of it could be supply, it could be product, it could be logistics, it could be anything. Like, where do I spend the most money in terms of cost, and what money do I give to another business? So let's say retail, most of your revenue, right, most of your sales come from fashion, and it comes from a particular type of fashion, maybe women's fashion. Guess what? All of a sudden, you can easily in your business start your own fashion line. There's a reason why you see brands like Tesco selling clothes in their stores, because they say, okay, you know what, people are already buying clothes online and they're already coming. Those same people are coming to our stores. Let's see what we can sell to them. Obviously, this is more data driven, so it needs to be something that is already. It needs to be a low hanging fruit in your business. Once you see, if you look at your cost sheet, your revenue, all of that, these things are there. You just need to pick it up. Some of them are impossible. So, for example, let's say you spend so much money on oil, right? On oil in running your business. You can't just start an oil business. So that's just an example. You can't start an energy or fuel business where you become the next Mobil or Total or Chevron. Nah, that's not gonna happen. So there's a particular science and trick to it, but it's literally at your fingertips. It's a low hanging fruit. You don't have to look too far for it, right? So I just wanted to start off with that. So now let's go to how do you find these business ideas? It's like I said, it's not so hard. A lot of people we tend to look too far for solutions without first looking beside us for that same solution. We look so far and wide. Oh wow, where can this thing be? Meanwhile, it's just beside you, saying hi, I'm here. So that's the first thing we need to understand. So the first way to find your business idea is through your network, right? Through your network or through your data, right? So network could be, what kind of partnerships do you have? What kind of relationships do you have? For an example, a lifestyle influencer can easily start either a clothing line or a beauty product, right? Well, let me not say. Okay, yes, for a lifestyle influencer, a clothing line might be easier. A clothing line or even a travel agency, because obviously they promote lifestyle. So going to places, what are they wearing? Even to a certain extent, beauty products. What kind of beauty products are they applying on themselves? So tans, sunscreen, fragrances, whatever it is. A lifestyle influencer can easily tap into that business because he or she already has a network that they are ready to buy. That, oh my God, this person is launching their own business. Let me buy it. So there's a reason why, and it's very common with celebrities, especially actors and actresses, in Hollywood. Let me use that word. So that's why you see people like am I allowed to mention names in these things? I don't even know. But that's why you see people like Jennifer Lopez now she has their own like perfume brand. Ariana Grande has their own perfume brand, all of that. Because they already have a network. Okay, so how do I use this my network to leverage and make some money? They're already making, so if public figures like that are already making so much money are if public figures like that are already making so much money and are still looking for ways to make more, you have no excuse. You also need to find ways to make more. So the first one is to look at your network. And I've used a very, very big generic example. Let me use a small example now. Let's say you have a very strong network of people that buy that need diesel, right, for their business. They need diesel for their business or they need diesel for their offices. You can start a diesel supply business. Like literally from your WhatsApp, from your WhatsApp or contact list, you can highlight 10 different people that you know that, I can be supplying diesel to these people. And guess what? People need diesel every day. So that's a consistent source of income, right? So it's not something where you need to look too far, but you might need to think a bit, right? It's literally there. Just look at it, look for it, and it's there. It's literally calling your name as well, right? So there's that, your network. The next one is your experience. I think I used the example of the operations manager, right? So your experience. Let's say, for example, you are a lawyer, right? You are a lawyer that handles maybe compliance, right? Yeah, let's look at compliance. Let's say you're a lawyer that handles compliance for a company, and you have friends that are starting their business, or you have either friends that are starting their business or people keep on reaching out to you and asking questions about how can I build a business that is compliant. All of a sudden, you have a service you're offering for free. You shouldn't offer that service for free. Well, you can if you want to. It's your knowledge. Don't get me wrong, but it's an opportunity where you can offer that service and make some extra money that you can go into your savings or something, right? I don't know. It's up to you. It's your knowledge. But that's a very good example. It's your experience. This is something that you already do day to day at the office. So imagine if somebody's coming to meet you with a business that is similar to what you do already day to day over the weekend. It wouldn't be so hard for you to think of how to help that person because you already do that for your 9 to 5. That's why I said that these things are not as far as you think they are. Right? So next one is your experience. So that's how you can use your experience. That's just an example. The third one is your environment. So you look around you. There are certain things that are happening in your environment. There are certain let me use the word problems. There are certain needs that need to be met in your environment. If you stay in a place that does not have clean water. So if you stay in a place that does not have clean water, and this is very common in the world. A lot of people like to think that it's common in only certain parts of the world, but it's common everywhere. It's common everywhere, guys. I've been to a few places, not a lot. Let me just put that disclaimer there. But and counting, let's put it like that. And counting. But you go everywhere and there's either some chemical in the water or something. Creating just a simple filter system. If you're an engineer or you have passion for those kind of things, or guess what? There are already machines and tools and appliances already created to solve this problem. Hiding somewhere in China that you can just go to China and buy in bulk and come and, sell. You can even at some point when you get to a certain level, design your own, patent it, and then come back to sell. But again, that's one thinking long and far. When you have a business that has proven itself, then you can look at that, right? But you can literally just sell filtration systems to anybody. It could be one-to-one customers, it could be businesses, it could be government if you have that kind of relationship. Just look at your environment. What's the problem there? Is waste the problem? Okay, let's set up something to start packing this waste. How do we begin to pack this waste? And that's a problem that a lot of people don't want to solve because we are now too bougie. So nobody wants to pick up shit. Pardon my French. Nobody wants to pick up shit. So everybody's too bougie. So you can see the opportunity that is there. So you don't mind picking up that shit. Because guess what? I think I read somewhere one time, shit business brings serious money or something like that. Yeah. I think shit business brings gold money or shit business brings serious money. Something like that. I can't remember how the person really phrased it. But that's what you need to look at. That's actually what you need to look at. That, this is my environment. There's certain issues that are here. How do I solve it? If it's a thing of people being homeless around where you are. Again, I'm trying to give certain examples that are not so common. So it can be a very common example, please. I'm just giving you examples that are not so common. So imagine you stay in an area where there are a lot of homeless people. All of a sudden, that means that there needs to be a shelter. Now, building a shelter is not necessarily your own. It's not necessarily your own problem. It's a problem for the government. But maybe the government is just too busy to manage it. So they need an NGO or a charity service that can manage it for them. This might not be a business. Again, it's an NGO, it's a charity, so it's not necessarily a business. But it's something that you would do almost as if you are running the business because the same skill sets will be required. Because you need to build a building, you need to build a shelter, you need to employ people, there are certain costs that are recurring costs, operational costs. You need to work on that. You need to all of that, and it's just there. It's a problem that you've seen in your environment. So it's the same way you need to look at. It's the way you need to look at these things. Look around you right now. What exactly can I help with? What can I improve? How can I make an impact in this society, in this community, in this country, wherever it is you are? How can you make an impact? And it's there. Literally, it's just beside you. The next one is your financial resources. Again, if you don't have money to build, if you don't have money to build product, then you would have to offer a service, right? So let me break that down a bit. If you don't have, let's say for example, your goal is let's talk about the coffee example I explained earlier. Let's say your goal is to have your own coffee brand, right? Your goal is to have your own coffee brand. You don't have the financial resources to import, let's say, the minimum order quantity for your own coffee brand. When you spoke to somebody that can supply coffee, branded, all of that, you've done the costing, and let's say it comes to about 1 million. That's too much, depending on your currency. But let's say it just costs 1 million. Whatever, put your currency at the back. And you let me not say obviously because I don't know who I'm speaking to right now. But let's say you don't have that money. So you don't have that money. Are you just going to let the business idea die? Are you just going to let that whole project die? No, of course not. Some people do, which I don't understand, but you're not supposed to. So if you don't have enough money to start a product-based business, you would then have to first start a service-based business to make enough money to build your product. It's really that simple. So for example, if you want to start a coffee brand, okay, I don't have the money to start a coffee brand now. What else can I do around this coffee business that I would find some sort of joy and passion in doing and make money off it? Okay, you know what? Let me begin to start training baristas. Or let me get to start training baristas. Or let me even reach out to a franchise, one of these big franchises, and see what I could do for them. There are so many things, there's so many opportunities. A lot of us, this particular one, financial resources, we let it weigh us down so much. We use it. This is our common go-to excuse. Oh, I don't have the money for it. Don't get me wrong. I understand when people say that. However, you can get the money for it if you want it bad enough. And it's not going to be it's going to be stressful, but it's going to be stressful in a way that is useful for everybody. There's nothing where, you don't go through certain activities and come out worse. This is one of those activities. You don't start a service-based business that works with your passion, where you have a supply of customers. Let me use that word, and then everything is going well, and then you start your product business. Even if the product business, when you finally start, it failed, you have a service-based business to fall back on. So you get what I'm saying? So let's not let financial resources hold us back. Now, because of financial resources, there are some businesses you can't start. So I think earlier I mentioned that a retail business, because they spend so much money on oil, they can't now all of a sudden say they want to start an oil business. No. Your financial resources are they are strongly dependent on the kind of business you can start, right? So look at what you have in your pocket, what you have in your bank account, what's possible, and then create like a map, a chart, a journey, that kind of thing. So that's it for your financial resources. So this is the final one actually. So last but not least, a big enough problem, aka a profitable problem. So what do we even call a big enough problem? So a big enough problem could be a problem that can help millions of people. It could be a problem that helps three or four governments. It could be a problem that helps actually just one government. Yeah, good. It could be a problem that helps maybe 50 to 100 businesses. So it depends. It depends on you what you call a big enough problem. It depends on your passion. It depends on the kind of business you're starting. If you're starting a clothing brand or a clothing business, or a clothing retail store, you would probably need to look into You probably need to look into what kind of clothes would I make? What kind of clothes do I enjoy making? And how big is the customer size or market size for people that wear those clothes, right? That's for you. So obviously you're looking for a big enough gap in the market where you can plug in. One of the things is, so let's look at Kanye or Ye. So Ye leveraged his network. Actually, I think Ye probably leveraged everything, but not. He leveraged his network. I wouldn't say he leveraged his experience, but he leveraged his network. He leveraged, So actually, Ye just leveraged his network because I wouldn't say there was a big enough problem for what he brought, but he leveraged his network. Again, it's Kanye West, guys. So there's that. Chill first. Okay. So when you're looking for a big enough problem, it's totally dependent on who your target customer is. So it's one of those things where you first need to look at the target customer first, and then look at the business. Now, it's very similar to looking at your environment. This kind of looking for a big problem. So in your environment, if there's a lot of problems with infrastructure, then you can start a cement company. The richest man in Africa, that's what he said he noticed. So he noticed a big enough problem where, with the way Nigeria was developing, there would be a lot of infrastructure opportunities. And then he started that. He used to retail rice and garri and maize initially before he started a cement business. I think, yeah, that's his story. So, it's the same way. If there's a big enough problem, only you can tell what it is. For example, I can say there's a big enough problem in terms of energy. So, no, let's say transportation. Yeah, let's say transportation. In my country, there's a big enough problem for transportation. So I want to start a transportation business, right? And, if I have the data to back it up, I have the financial resources, I have the network, and I have the experience, then I can go for it. These ones, businesses that tend to thrive, that have a big enough problem. Because if the problem is big enough, you are most likely not the only person looking at it, and probably not the only business. So I would suggest that you first go and look for people that are in the business. Look for two types of people. The people that have failed in the business, they are even more important. Look for those ones, and then look for people that are successful. So look for the people that first failed in the business, right? Speak to them, see where their shortcomings were, see what happened, see what they would change differently, see if they are interested in going back or not going back. Understand why they don't want to go back or why they are going back. And then look for people that are successful and then see what works for them. Understand what they could have improved upon and then start your business. Always start your business from, always look to start your business from a better starting point than somebody that, that's somebody that started it before. So, a pastor once said something, and it was, I found it very, very interesting. He said that, if you look at the Bible, when God created Adam was the first creature. Like, Adam was the first human creation, right? Adam was the first man. But when he created woman, he had something to improve upon, right? So typically that way, woman is seen as an improved version of human creation. Please don't come for me for that. But that's the same way you need to look at it when you're starting your business. Start from a point where you have enough understanding, knowledge, data from people that have started the business before, so you can start from a better place. Okay? So yeah, there's that. One of the things that people also do that I kind of find a bit sad, let me use that word, is you allow, so let's say you don't have that network, or you don't have that experience, or you don't have that environment, or you don't have the financial resources, or I can't find a big enough problem. You allow all of that to hold you down. No. We don't do that. I keep telling, and I said it earlier today. I said it earlier in this podcast where, the problem that you are looking so far ahead for a solution, that solution you're looking for is right beside you. That solution is right beside you. It's beside you right now. Pick up your phone, look at your contact list, look at your contact list, look at your social media, understand what kind of businesses your friends and people, what kind of businesses are they into. Look at your 9 to 5. Look at your 9 to 5. What area of the business is the most important area of the business? Do you have any experience in that? Do you have a passion for that? Look at your experience. What are you good at? What do you have knowledge at your fingertips, ready to go? What do you have? What kind of knowledge do you have that, you can impact other businesses or other people in your line of work? So you don't necessarily have to always supply other businesses. So if you're an operations manager, you can train other operations managers. You can make them better. You can, whatever it is, really. So don't look too far, and don't let, maybe what you see ahead of you can be a bit daunting or scary. And then you're like, oh no, I don't think I have the capacity. I don't have that network. No. You have it. It's right beside you. It's closer than you think. Now, let me be very honest with you. It might not be as much as you want, but you need to start from somewhere. No matter how you see it, a bucket that you put under a tap, no matter how slow that tap is bringing out water, that bucket will still be full one day, right? But here's the trick. With business, you only get better. You only get better, you only improve. It's one of the most, it's one of those things where you just improve. It never gets worse. So you become better at managing people, you become better at managing resources, you become better at mitigating problems, you become better at supply, evaluating supply and demand. You become better at understanding your customers, which is the most important, actually. It's one of those things where you just become better. And it helps you in all ways. There are certain things you learn in business that when you come home into your family, you use those certain, let me use the word skills, to navigate. So for example, when it comes to budgeting, if you're somebody that do not know how to budget properly, but you started a business and you started to do the budgeting in your business, you started to do your cost analysis, you started to do your P&L, It's the same way you come back home and you'll be like, wait, do we need, isn't there a better way for us to do? Should we bulk buy? There are so many things that you can like learn and just improve your business. Don't let fear of failure hold you down, man. Like, that's another thing where I don't really get, like, fear of failure. You only fail when you stop trying or stop learning or stop working. That's when you fail, right? That's when you fail. If the opportunity is there, excuse me, if the opportunity is there and you're going for it, it would click at some point. It has to. That's just the mindset. So we've answered the whys, we've answered the hows. Now, what business you decide to go for is up to you. You need to look at your network, your experience, your environment, your financial resources, and the problems around you, right? The when is a tricky one because it should start now. It's something you can start working on now. I don't know how much you earn, but if you earn that amount, you should be able to make more, right? Either in your business or in your company, any way you look at it. Starting a business or a side hustle, like some people call it, is a good way to start. So start now. That's the win. Do you understand? That's the win. And finally, I'm rounding up. Finally, it's not a necessary thing of exchanging money. You don't need to exchange money. Some people with business, I think way back, people used to trade things like animals for food crops. So maybe like a goat for a bag of rice, or a horse for, a bag of wheat or something. That's a ridiculous exchange. A whole horse. Maybe not for just one bag, maybe for like a few bags, maybe like 50 bags of wheat. But that's pretty much it. It's the same way you can work you can navigate through today's world and find things that are useful to your business that are not necessarily just money. Exchanging money is good, don't get me wrong. But you can offer a service and get a product back. Right? So I train X number of people, and then they supply me groceries for the next 3 months. When I look at the value of the groceries and I look at the amount of money I would have collected, which is more, if the value of the groceries are more, then I'll gladly collect the groceries, right? So it's not necessarily everything you should exchange for money. And that's about it, guys.
So it's a wrap. That's about it for today. So you'll be hearing from me in another episode, I guess. But don't forget to share this with your friends, your family, people that have businesses, and that will find this type of content useful. So yeah, you'll be hearing from me soon.